continue our availabilities with another Michigan native. We've been joined by Erik Jones. Erik, before we get started with questions, I wanted to ask you, you had a great foundation event yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that and what it meant to you to be able to host that here in Michigan.
Yeah, we've been doing a clay shoot the last few years in Charlotte and thought it was time to maybe move it and do something different. Brought it up here to Dryden, Michigan, which many of you probably don't know, but it's a little bit north of here. And there's a nice little Huntsman club up there that has a clay course and does a bunch of other stuff. But we had our event there yesterday, had a good turnout, had about 70, 80 people and raised some good money. We don't have a final number from it yet, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Super cool to have it home in Michigan, and a lot different crowd than what we had in Charlotte. A lot of people I've known for a long time, so that was pretty neat to have an event for them up here. And I was happy with the turnout. Had a good time.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to questions. If you have a question for Erik, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Who would like to kick us off? All right, we'll start with Zach and then go to Jordan.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. You guys obviously have been on an upswing at Legacy in general, but you look at the points scored at Michigan in this next-gen car, and even before this year, coming into this weekend, you're ranked 5th in points over these last few races here. What is it about this track specifically that you feel like you've been able to hone in on, and do you feel like the expectation is a little bit higher coming into this weekend because of the overall improvement around Legacy?
Yeah, I mean, the second part, I think expectations definitely higher. I think last year we didn't really know. We were not in a great spot. We were just trying to have a good day. This year, I feel like top 10, well, at least for me. I don't know how everyone else feels, but top 10 is definitely expectation for me. So, points-wise here, I don't know. This car is way different here than the old car. We were kind of hit or miss in the last generation of car here. We had some good days, had some bad days. This car, I feel like every time we've been pretty good. I feel like it's more of it's almost more of a drafting type of race. There's some handling that comes into play, and you do need to have your car driving well, and it has to have some speed. But the way you kind of set up your passes and make your runs, you have to be pretty careful and make some good choices on restarts, put yourself kind of in a good position, have a good strategy. I feel like the last couple of years we've done really well playing the strategy and getting ourselves up front towards the end. So I feel like the racing's way different in this generation. Like I said, just it's more of a it's not a speedway race, but it's much closer to a speedway race than it used to be.
All right, Jordan, go ahead.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. You look at the results, 3 top 15 finishes in the last 4 races? Sorry. Is there something really you're attributing that to of why you're able now to kind of starting to turn out consistently the good finishes?
I don't know that it's one thing. I think we struggled a little bit at the start of the year. We had some days that should have been better early on in the year, and we didn't put it all together between either mistakes I made, mistakes pit crew made bad call, had something maybe not go right, got caught in a wreck. And we saw the 42 have some speed too there, so we knew it was in the car. Then we kind of had some glimmers of hope. We put together a really good race at Texas, and then going back a few weeks ago, starting to put some better races together. So Nashville was really the first one that everybody just did a good job. I mean, I feel like I didn't make mistakes. I felt like the pit crew did a good job. I think they were 8th overall on the day, so that was their best day by a long shot. We qualified good enough to be up front, so everything just was finally maximized and took advantage of the car we had. I think this 1.5 mile stuff is where, at least for now, kind of our bread and butter is at, and we gotta execute on that. We can't let those days slip by that we can get these good points days. So I think it'll be the same tomorrow. Just got to put it all together.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Erik, Roy Akers, Skyview Sports. Jimmy Johnson said a couple weeks ago at Charlotte that he thought the team was really trending in the right direction. All of you have had at least one top 5 this season. Do you guys have like a game plan where you feel like, a master plan where you guys are hoping to be now and maybe a year from now in that? There has to be. Yeah,
I think we've had a timeline the last couple of years and where we want to be as a team. I think that's probably changed a little bit with last year and the struggles we had. But this year we're more on track to be where we want to be. Ultimately the end goal for Legacy is to be a championship team, right? There's no other goal than that. And obviously there's a lot of teams with that goal. But, becoming independent and not having the alliance, that was kind of a step number one to say, look, we want to do this on our own and build this into a top tier program. So it's a long way to get there, and we have a lot of work to do to get there. We probably should win a race first, but the goals are there, and that's a few years down the road. But definitely I feel like where our performance is at this moment, winning a race in the next 365 days is probably goal number one.
All right, Jeff.
I want to go back to the Bell incident last week. So, like, as he's coming down the track, are you just thinking, like, no, like, I'm here? Or, like, I mean, I guess you could have somehow lifted for him if you wanted to, but what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, so, obviously I got to the bottom, and he got into me once, and I'm like, okay, I kind of just assumed, well, now he knows I'm down here, so he'll just give me the room, and then he hit us again, so I'm like, well, okay, and now I'm just going to stay in here. I'm just not going to lift. So after that, I was like, well, if you just come down again, you're going to get spun out. So I haven't talked to Bell. He's made it known through the grapevine that he felt that it wasn't my fault, so I didn't really want to bring it back up again with him, because it's not really like, well, I didn't really want to wreck you, and I don't think he wanted to be wrecked either, so it was just kind of one of those racing situations. But, it was a weird deal, right? He was 3 wide, and it looked like the 22 kind of pushed him down the first time, and then I think he probably just got to where he was caught off guard, getting shoved down, and then stuck in the middle and was trying to figure out where to go, and ran out of racetrack. So it's pretty narrow, right? Nashville's not super wide. It's not like here. But, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Obviously, he's Toyota car, so I don't really want to wreck anybody, but especially another Toyota. But just one of those weird racing situations, it felt like.
All right, go ahead.
The Racing Network. Wanted to get your thoughts going into Mexico City next week. The track, the experience. What's your overall expectations going into that event next weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be definitely a lot of just work to just get down there. We've raced out of the country before in Canada years ago with the trucks, and it was okay. It wasn't a bad experience in any way. It was pretty easy. It's a little bit different down here with the travel, but the track I think is good. It's pretty unique. There's some obviously really high speed stuff, some really, really slow stuff, and that stadium section is like 30 miles an hour, so there's going to probably be some chaos down there. Overall, it's hard to put judgment on it, right? Because I haven't done it, so I don't want to say good or bad, but I think it is neat. We're racing in a new venue out of the country. I think the crowd is going to be huge from talking to a handful of people. So I don't know. It's a little bit hard. I got to just get there, do it once, and see how it goes. But definitely, to be honest, the travel's a little overwhelming. I'm not a guy that is super excited about that part of it. But the race, I am looking forward to.
All right, Lee, go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. You've had top 10s at Pocono with every team you've ever raced with. What makes you so, consistent there?
Yeah, I don't know. Pocono's always been one of my favorite tracks. So I went there when I was really young in ARCA. You could race there at 16, and I did that. And so I've just been going there a long time, have a lot of experience, number one. But number two, it's just a place I was super comfortable at right off the bat. I felt like I understood early kind of how to make speed there. I feel like everybody approaches that track a little bit differently and how they want their car to drive and how they want to make speed there. And, I kind of have the way that I like to do it and felt like it's worked for me kind of in everything, Xfinity and truck, Cup, ARCA car, all of it. So I think that's helped a lot. I feel like the strategy's always worked super well there for me where we end up front. But, just a place I'm super comfortable. I think some guys probably aren't overly comfortable going there with the track and how it drives, but it's a place that I've just always – I think you have those few tracks that you go to that you really like, and for me, there's a few of them, and Pocono's on that list for sure.
You mentioned the 365, getting a win in 365 days is kind of the goal that y'all are setting, but there's been talk about potentially Jimmy adding an IndyCar entity to Legacy. Do you really think that you guys need to be up and running and winning before that expansion would take place?
Well, at the end of the day, it isn't my race team. I just drive. But, yeah, I would love to see the Cup program be, successful and up and going first, 100%. But, that's my focus, right? I'm the driver of the Cup car and want to see that do well, and I want to run well. So, I don't want to speak to his plans, and I honestly, I don't know what Jimmy's plans are on some of that stuff either. So, I think he's done in the last, 8 months, we've done a great job on the Cup side of things, getting to where we want to be in this moment. We still have work to do going forward to continue this progress and even to stay where we're currently at. So yeah, I would definitely love the focus to be on the Cup car. But again, I don't own the team, and I don't make those decisions too.
All right, Eric. Thanks so much for spending time with us.
Yeah.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys.